Hello yet again, it's me as always, funkdoc, and this time we have ourselves a France 4-player game on a pretty darn cheap config. We got the Paris region, we got the region bordering Paris, which is pretty cheap, and also that's cheap and Aqua's cheap. We just only have red in there, which is the most expensive part in all of France. But that's still overall this is like still overall I'd say one of the cheapest France configs you can get. Should make for a little bit faster game to get to step 3 then. I'm willing to pay 8 for the 4 plant. Perfectly fine. An option you could have here. There's an option you could use here. I'm just trying to think about what my build is. Like, Montpellier and Carcassonne, this is the build that gets you the most in terms of land, generally. Like, it's not great for someone to build behind you in Aqua here, although it could happen. Even if it does happen, though, you still have this to go to, which is okay. So, I mean, it's a really safe 2 build here. I've seen Peastein X and J-Bode, you know, 2 of the absolute best players I play with. They're both very fond of this specific build. Idyllwild buys the 7. Okay. Soledad, I think, will still buy the 3, though. I think. Worth it to build first. We've been playing a lot of France lately, I gotta say. I didn't even realize that. It's a nice friendly map. I feel like France is actually the easiest map for beginners. That's the one out of all the BSW maps. That's the one that I would play for a first-time player. Ooh, 24. That's not good for the early market. It takes a while for 24 to get good. In 4-player, we get 2 trash coming back in per turn, so you have to do like then and then like when it gets to this level, so in like 3 or 4 turns is when I would even look at 24. And so Soledad still gets triple Paris. That's pretty nice. What that tells me is this. That actually says I want to do the Carcassonne-Montpellier build. Because I'll still be guaranteed second from bottom in the turn order this way. Ooh, and Ryan actually builds too, so I get bottom now. That should not happen. I do agree with the Angers Tours build, though, if you're going to do that. I actually think that's the best 2 build in this area if you're going to build 2. Problem is, it might make Idyllwild build behind me in Aqua, which would not be great for me, obviously. So Idyl's options, as I see it, are either build behind me in Aqua or just go for red. Red is safer in terms of number of cities, and it gets you closer to Paris, but you can make a case for this as well. You can actually make a case for building behind me, because those first 4 cities, really first 4 or 5, are crazy cheap. And those are the most important cities to get cheap, like your first 4 or 5. Basically, having those early cheap cities is a big help for winning plants like, you know, your 21 or 26. If those arrive early in the game, it's a lot easier for you to build and make more money from those plants early. If you have those cheap cities there to start with. Idle's still thinking about this, though. consider Nantes Renz, but now he's going to build behind me. I kind of saw that coming. Nantes Renz would have been the other build that I would look at here, personally. Or, well, Nantes La Rochelle is the safe build there. Renz might be a little bit greedy. Okay. With 24 in this market, this should be bad. Yeah, I think 10 does deserve a little bidding here. That being said, I'm not the person who's going to bid. Because I want to be in there for the 11. I really want to be able to fight Soledad on the 11, because 11 could be pretty darn valuable here. Although, Idyllwild getting the 10 is interesting, though. That opens things up a lot. That makes it strange for me. Soledad has reason to bid for the 11, though, for sure. Ouch. Did not want to see 19 there, that's for sure. My thinking was I could maybe get 27 this turn, because Ryan's going to buy a plant. The reason I let Soledad have the 11 a little cheaper than I normally would was that Ryan's still going to buy a plant above me, so I have a chance for a drop. That chance just got a lot lower with 19 coming, though. Now, it's not all hopeless. There's still some great plants that I could get here if Ryan tries to buy something. I could get, you know, most notably 18, 21, 22, 23 would be okay. Maybe, I don't even know if I'd buy 23. 20 would also be okay. Anyway, I'm obviously going to pass on this. What? That works? That's... Sure, that's better than... 20... Yeah. That's better than 24, at least. Okay. Now, my problem is... I'm not going to be able to build this turn, so I just have to store all the coal that I can, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to gobble up all this coal now. Since I'm a dollar short of being able to build this turn, which I would really want to do. But... Because of Idyllwild building behind me, I can't reach 3 this turn, so instead I'm just going to go to maximum coal storage and then build to 3 on the next turn, is what I do here. I want to eye Toulouse and then Bordeaux as my next cities. That's what I'd be thinking here. Interesting that Ryan bought trash and then didn't fire the 19. Ryan is still a very new player. I forgot to explain the players, by the way. Ryan54 is another very new player. Just started recently. Idyllwild is someone who's been around for a while, but is still less experienced than a lot of the top players on here. And Soledad is arguably the best player in this game. very high win rate, 49% overall win rate, which for a game that's, often played 3 and 4 player or even larger size, that's a very strong win percentage. I'll just take the $3 coal here. Although that's going to make things awkward next turn. Maybe shouldn't have done that. Soledad's going to be comfortably ahead of the rest of us on money. Having cheap having all of Paris plus getting 11 for cheaper than normal. Well, Soledad has no reason to build now because he gets bottom in the turn order. He's doing really well here, I have to say. Ryan running the 19 so early is just bad. That's just not something you do. Hey, well, that's actually pretty good for me. That drop right there, because now I'll be much better equipped to buy a plant on the next turn. Soledad is not exactly have good choices here. He might go for the 12 though. I could see Soledad going for 12 just to gobble up some coal. Yeah. Yeah, that play probably makes the most sense. Now I'm glad I bought that $3 coal on the last turn. Yes. Ooh, 25 coming in. Yeah, I'll take the $3 coal again. Sure. I'll just pick it off while it's really cheap. This 25. This could be a big deal come next turn, if it stays on. And I ain't gonna build. I want to stay bottom in the turn order now. That's very important for me. Also, Ryan and Idyllwild both bought coal, so I'm glad I got that $3 coal. Ryan opting not to build, which is an interesting play. I thought with him buying resources on the 5 that he would build, but I guess not. Maybe just, storing that coal for later with 25, possibly staying in the market for next turn. And sure enough, it stays on. All right. Well, real good plant for me now, obviously. I need to do math. So, cities that I want are Bordeaux, do I want Bordeaux, La Rochelle, or Limoges? I should have learned my lesson from this last time that Limoges is probably better. Not really though. Anyway, I can bid a lot of money for this. Key is, how much is too much. 27 would actually be really good for me right now. Like, if I get 27 fairly cheap, I could actually build to 7 this turn and even take, like, the cheapest connection into Bordeaux, which is rare. Normally, you want that Toulouse to Bordeaux connection, which is a little more expensive. I'll probably pay like 40 for this. Or even a little more. Now I think I can pass, though. Me being bottom gives me a little more luxury here. Oh, 29 comes on. Cool. And 27. That's still, that's a good plant there. Still a few duds left in the deck. I'll bid 29 on it. One more click. One more click for me here. One more bid. Okay. Hey, 20, cool. I'll bid some for this. With me having coal stored too. Okay, Soledad gets the 29. Okay. Soledad's continuing on his path of making lots of money. I have a suspicion he's probably going to end up winning this game. I want Bordeaux and La Rochelle for sure. Because La Rochelle, that gives me a cheaper route into this part of the map. This juicy part right here. Actually, do I want La Rochelle? Or do I want Limoges? Limoges actually... It's easier to get to Paris from there, which is worth considering. But with Soledad being the leader in this game, Paris is not quite as high a priority for me. I'd rather block Soledad cities. So I think this is what I do. It's very rare for me for my first 3 plants to be all pure coal. It's nice having coal stored for 3 turns worth of the 20. Also, I should be able to stay below the Idyllwild with 25 there in the turn order. Now, stalling with the 20 is not great. So next turn, probably looking to break the stall. I don't know, though. Getting bottom in the turn order is sweet. I do think if I were Soledad, I might try to break the stall now. That's what I'm thinking. Yep. That's the play for Soledad, I agree. Completely agree with that move. So he's gonna be rich. I think Soledad is clearly winning this game right now. Like, 29 was far from a guarantee to drop. That's why I was willing to pay a couple bucks for the 20. A couple extra bucks above 20, I mean. But getting that 29 drop was just huge. Three comes on. All right, well, stalls the market a little bit. What I have to think about is, would I actually buy 23? Nah. I just don't have the money at this point. Blah. Now, Soledad, I think, is not going to want to build too much here. I think I might just no build, honestly. Or what I could do. Here's what I could do. I could buy 23, build to like one city, and just run 23 and 15 together. But I don't think that's going to be worth it. Thinking about the plants most likely to come next turn, we should be getting stuff better than this. I think I pass. Not very much better. Oh, well. Oh, well. I don't think Idyllwild should go too crazy in the extra coal buying here. Probably a little bit, but not too much. So... yeah, see, that's about what I expected. Ryan shouldn't buy any resources on the 5 because that's the next plant he'll want to replace. He needs to burn those resources now. Worried he might make that mistake, though. Yep. Okay, no, Ryan does the right thing, not buying any resources in the 5. And even Soledad doesn't buy any coal. Hey. I'm just going to stay patient right here. Cool. Idle only builds into my cities, which I expected. I lost step 1 Perpignan, but I'm not as worried about that. Montpellier being blocked is pretty nice. to kind of makes it a little bit harder for someone else to jump into Aqua behind me here. Ryan only builds one city? Interesting. Oh, Soledad's going for all the builds. Okay, he is overbuilding now. That's the kind of play that could cost him in the long run, so... I don't know. Next turn I'll have a lot more money to make use of something like 24. I prefer 21, though. It's weird that Ryan didn't build the 7, though. Alright, 28. Well, that's a plan I would much prefer over 24 for sure. Soledad's getting kind of screwed on capacity, though. This is the one thing that could cost him the game. What happens is Soledad, he's going to have the most money of all of us by far, especially building like this, getting these nice cheap step 2 spots, and making it harder for me to get into Paris. I mean, this stuff right here, it does help him, but it may also lead to problems where he's stuck at the top of the turn order and misses out on bigger plants. While one of us other players who has more capacity and a decent amount of money can end the game before he can catch up in capacity. That's the way he would lose this. And him buying another 4 capacity plant does make me feel better, especially this mediocre one, because 19 is going to be in play. So, alright. Need to think here. Because I want nothing to do with 31. I might actually bid for this. 30's not even going to be good now either. 31 sucks. I mean, coal's getting really cheap again now too, which is cool. I will bid for this. 26 is the only plant that can come that would make me possibly regret this. Ooh, but he bids for it though. Is it really worth paying this much for 28? I'm gonna guess yes, actually. He's driving it though. He's driving it up. Speak of the goddamn devil. Ooh, and Ryan's the only one to compete with me, and Ryan would have to build over his coal if he were to win this. What I'm going to do now is this. I think I want to build into Nantes and Rennes for sure. I'd like to block Soledad from those cities. And the question is, do I go for Paris or block here? I think I block Aqua. That's probably my play. Okay, so let's do this again. What are other plants that could come? 21 would be acceptable. 16, 17, 18, blah. 30, not great. And 31 would just be boo. Yeah, I gotta pay a decent amount of money for this. I'm not sure about this. 30 comes on. Well, there's Ryan's replacement for 19 right there. I think that has to be his buy. Not much oil in this game either, so I don't really have to buy extra oil even. I can just think about this with builds. Think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't even have money to do the oil and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just take non-test then. I'd have to leave Ren's open to get up to 4 cities. Alternately, I can just stay at 8, which might be the better play. Do it this way. So I can get both of these, grab them from Soledad. Yeah, I think I do that. Yeah, do it this way. Sure. I'm not so sure if I should have paid for 26 there. Not so sure if I should have. We have a little ways to go before step 3, though. And there is potential for market stall. That's what would allow me to win this game. Like, I'm set up to win in terms of capacity, to win the capacity war. If that becomes what decides the game, Soledad's gonna win if it comes down to money. Like, I ceded the money battle to Soledad a long time ago. So really, ever since that 29 drop, Soledad's been way richer than the rest of us. But we're far enough away from step 3 that I have hope of the game slowing down now. Definitely want to take these cities from him. Ryan didn't buy the 30, by the way. What? That's very strange to me. Actually, that makes me happy. I'm happy Ryan didn't buy a plant. I don't know why he didn't. Like, 30 would have been like the most obvious replacement for 19. I actually get a little more use out of that 15 there. Thought I'd never run that again with a 20, huh? Idle not building. Why is... That's very strange to me that Idyllwild wouldn't build there. Like, with 25 and 28, you know, you want to build and make money from those plants, you know? That's what I'm thinking. What I want to get now is I can get into here. Like, if I can get into here and here, Although, Idle might build these before me. That's what I think he's eyeing for the next turn here. And sure enough, big plants blocked from the market. Problem is, Ryan's probably going to buy something this turn. That's our issue right now. Oil is so friggin' cheap right now. 26 is probably going to end up being worth it. I was worried that, was it 44 I paid? That might be a little too expensive, but probably the right play. Although, thinking Ryan could buy that 16 there, possibly. Well, no, uranium's still really cheap, so 23 might look more attractive. Like, Ryan's going to buy something this turn. That's what I'm expecting here. Also, I don't know why Ryan's just storing all these resources in the 5 and never using them. What a weird... That's just weird play there. 21. Well, that makes me happy because that's a plant that neither I nor Idyllwild need. And the nice thing about Soledad continuing to overbuild is we can build more. Idle's just going to build a 9 and stop there. I think I built a 10. Or actually, do I? Or do I? Had to think about this. This is Ryan's play right now is reminding me of Javis, just storing all these extra resources and then never using them and replacing those plants. That's just like, it's easy to see why a beginner would want to do that, but it's just straight up wasting money. I think my most important cities to protect now are these. Or actually just build one. I should probably just build one of those, huh? I think what I want to do here is just, assuming Idle builds to 9 this turn, I'm going to build to 9 and stop there because I want to stay bottom in the turn order. Because what's very important is this. I have the capacity lead right now, and the market is stalling. We're setting up potential for me to end the game on the next turn. Idle doesn't build. Well then. I'll stop here. Now I'm going to really pay for not storing extra coal there. Soledad is, I think, obviously going to build a 14. He's the player who really needs to move the market. So, Soledad in his situation, he wants to build 14 out of the game. Could probably build 16 out of the game even. I think this build does the most for me in terms of blocking. No, there's Soledad. Wow, Soledad doesn't build a 17th. Okay. Because Soledad could have ended the game in 1, actually. With the rest of us sitting at, 9 cities at most. Okay, that gets us to step 3. Soledad's plants now are problematic, though. And the problem is, there's only 2 6-capacity plants in the game. I mean, 7-capacity plants. 46 is not in this game. We only have 38 and 36, and both could be dicey. Coal is really cheap in this game, but... Let me see, what's left? What's left in this market anyway? There's more good stuff here, so I think I pass on this one, especially with me already having a big coal plant. Ooh. Well, I mean, maybe a little better than 31 for Soledad. Maybe a little better. Well, I want nothing to do with no 30. Kind of surprised he's going for that over 42. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby indeed. He's probably thinking to replace 24 here? Oh no. Oh no. I mean, I have to go for this. For sure. Ooh, that was... I'm not even sure if that was a mistake, though. If the game lasts 2 more turns, I think 39 for the price I paid, not much more expensive than the 50, and it's better for turn order. So 39, arguably worth it there, even with that 50 drop coming. Problem is this. We haven't seen any of the 7-capacity plants yet. That's going to set it up for Soledad to win on the next turn. That's the issue here. Just so many of the big oil plants are out that oil's just so crazy cheap for me. I don't get Idyllwild storing 2 uranium, though. Weird play. Weird play. Don't need extra uranium here, I just need to build. Soledad's at 14 cities, I have to make it to 15. Idyllwild's just realizing now that he should have only bought 1 uranium. Idyllwild's sitting here thinking I'm going to end the game? No way. In fact, I'm not even going to make it to 15, I think. I might not even make it to 14. Honestly. I mean, I'll get like these cities in here. Oh man, if only I'd gotten that 29. If only I'd gotten that 29. Soledad making all these big builds, it's going to win for him in the long run. That's all I got. Yeah, Soledad just wins. GG. Second place for me, but it is a distant second in this case. Yeah, this is pretty obvious ever since, you know, the 13 for cheap, followed by a little bit of a stall there, followed by that 29 drop after 20. And Soledad's just going to win now. Like, he has to end it here because he's stuck at the top of the turn order, so if there is a next turn, he could very well miss out on a 7 capacity plant and lose the game because of that. There's only a 50% chance that a 7 would come onto the market for him. So if he can end it here now at all, he has to. And I assume he has to be able to end it. The fact that I don't have any extra resources stored is what might be deterring him here from ending. Little does he know I am broke now. Yep. There it is. Good win, Soledad. Oh wow, he wasn't quite as rich as I thought. All right, we're just discussing strategy after the game. Yeah, saying I was suggesting to Idle that Idle probably should have built around this area instead of behind me there. Probably. But yeah. Anyway, congrats to Soledad, and see you later.